We're good. All right. So, hello everyone, and welcome to our webinar for December. So today we're going to be talking about avoiding burnout, and I'm joined by Zakia and Maggie, and I'll be leading today, but they'll be jumping in, and we want to kind of have you all talk a little bit too about your own strategies for avoiding burnout, so we'll have a slide for that later on. So, we're also joined by Snowy the Self-Care Snowman, who is a beautiful piece of art me and Zakia made, slash cobbled together from different pieces of paper. So let's go over the schedule real quick. So first we're going to welcome our new vistas. So we have 4 new vistas who have started either this week or last month, so we'll welcome them. Then we're going to talk about our main topic, which is burnout and self-care, and then do some housekeeping at the end. So welcome to our new vistas. So some of you probably met Danielle at our training on the 20th. So she's serving at U of M Flint. And then we have Rhea Macy, who's serving at Atlantic Impact in Detroit with Asmara. And those were our 2 November start date vistas. And then we have our new vistas, so Alexis Farrell, who's serving at the Center for Nonprofit Support in Detroit, and then Anthis Floyd, who's serving at Friends Indeed in Ypsilanti. So those are our 4 new vistas. So everyone, please welcome them.
We don't have a picture of Anthis, so you're just going to have to create one in your head. I think she looks like Snowy, the self-care snowman.
And all right. So our main topic is talking about the importance of self-care. So why are we talking about this? So we're in December. It's cold. It's snowy. It can kind of be a rough month, and a lot of people are in their first couple months of service, so in that like kind of disillusionment phase. So I think now is the time to like step back and look at how you all are handling your own self-care to make sure that you are as healthy as you can be, and you're able to process everything that's going on in your life, and like think about how you handle self-care, and like really like step back, look at it, and see like this is what I do to take care of myself, and make sure that you like protect that for yourself. So it's also the holiday season. It's a very stressful time. There's a lot of stuff going on. You all might be going on some breaks soon, and then be coming back to service fresh in January. So it's kind of a good time to like step back and look at things. And so self-care, why? And I know I personally dealt with some burnout in my AmeriCorps service in the program I was serving in. And it kind of took me realizing like, hey, this is like the stuff I do to take care of myself. Like this is how I can like kind of de-stress after a day of service. So it prevents that burnout feeling, and it reduces the negative effects of stress. So stress is not bad. Too much stress is good. So stress is kind of like a sweet spot thing. So if you have no stress at all in your life, you're probably bored, and you have like kind of a difficulty focusing. Whereas too much stress is when you get into like anxiety and kind of crashing and burning out. So it's important that we manage the stress we have, realize that all stress is not bad, but that too much stress is a bad thing. And with all these strategies we're going to talk about today, there's no one-size-fits-all approach to self-care. So self-care is whatever works for you. So for some people, self-care is going to the gym. For other people, self-care is watching a movie, hanging out with friends. It's kind of like realizing what you do already in your life for self-care and kind of protecting that space for you.
I think going off of that a little bit, too, is that we all practice self-care. You can't get through life without doing that. And intentionally naming the things that you do and recognizing the things that you do as self-care. So I like to get coffee in the morning, and if I don't allow myself to do that, I'm still going to do it. I'm just going to feel poorly about it, rather than maybe like saying this is something that I need, that makes me like splurge a little bit on myself without kind of going way overboard. How can I do it better? Can I buy coffee beans instead of buying coffee, and save some money there, or like building it into my budget? And you can do that with your time too. So by naming it as self-care and recognizing the importance of it, you can safeguard your time, safeguard your money, and then be able to engage in those practices kind of guilt-free, as essentially sacred time.
And yes, another example, like I talked about this at orientation, but I went to this restaurant every weekend for breakfast, And I kind of realized, like, I'm like, why am I spending all this money on breakfast? I don't make any money. And then I realized kind of it was a really important part of my own self-care, and it was like a chance for me to get out, go somewhere else, be out of a hectic house situation sometimes, and kind of I realized, okay, I need to protect this, and this is actually a very important part of what's keeping me together throughout the week. So yeah, it's about protecting those like sacred spaces for yourself. So there are a lot of common stressors. Some you can control, some you can't. So some general ones, so loss of a loved one, that's a huge stressor. Ending a relationship is also a big one. Any kind of illness, whether that be physical or mental, can cause a lot of stress. Lack of sleep and overstimulation are also two big ones. So like overstimulation could look like having your phone on all the time if you're like addicted to like reading bad news and like seeing what's going wrong in the world. You're not taking that time to like kind of de-stress. That could be a big part of overstimulation. And then we have AmeriCorps-related stress. So moving. So a lot of people moved for this position in our new communities. So that can cause a huge amount of stress. The financial strain. We're not making very much money, and in life, money gets you a lot of things. So like having to deal with that is a huge stressor. Feeling isolated. So I was lucky to be in a program that had a bunch of people in my house who were also serving with me, but a lot of people are at a host site by themselves, and you can kind of feel like the odd person out, being the only vista at your host site. So that can be a huge stressor, AmeriCorps related. Being overworked, that's an obvious one. Feeling underappreciated is also a very AmeriCorps specific thing. People might call you, oh, you're just a volunteer. They might call you like an intern. Like you might not get the proper respect that you deserve for being an AmeriCorps Vista member. So that can cause some stress. And then all of the wonderful paperwork and reporting we ask you all to do. So a big part of making that not stressful is being thinking about beforehand and not working on it like the day before it's due. And so we also thought it'd be useful to go through some of the signs of stress so that you all can recognize them in yourselves when you start experiencing them and realize, oh, maybe I need to find some way to handle this and combat this. So emotional signs of stress, so being irritable or grumpy, feeling overwhelmed, the inability to relax or stop, feeling lonely, helpless, or worthless, and avoiding others. Those are some of the emotional signs of stress. So it's important for these to also realize, like, these are signs of stress if they're different from your norm. So some people are just like a little bit grumpy, and that's fine.
That's
but if
me. I'm the example.
So it's like recognizing when these are different than your norm. So like, if you're like a lonely-ish type person and you're feeling lonely, that might be your normal, and that might not be like a sign that you are stressed out. So just recognize when they're different than the norm. Some of the other signs of stress, so physical signs of stress, so like low energy, headache, upset stomach, if you're holding tension, insomnia, that's a huge one. If you're having trouble sleep, those kind of like physical signs that something is wrong. Those are the physical signs of stress. The cognitive signs of stress, so this is me, this is where I stress out. So constant worrying, racing thoughts, forgetfulness, inability to focus, having poor judgment or being pessimistic or negative. So this is the space where like, yeah, I struggle the most, and I realize like, oh, I am definitely like a constant worrier and a racing thought type person. So when I realize that that's getting out of control, that's when I realize, oh, I am stressed out and I need to take some time for self-care.
Danielle, do you have your hand up? Can we, I can't.
I don't see Danielle's hand up.
Okay.
She had her hand up, but I thought it was for the test thing, so I made it go away.
Okay. And then I see Maurice's is up too. Do you have that in your?
No.
Okay.
No.
I think your computer's going a little slower.
Sorry.
All right, some more signs of stress. Behavioral, so like appetite changes, you're procrastinating a lot, self-medication, whatever that looks like. Could be drinking, it could be like eating a lot of candy. And kind of nail biting and fidgeting, also like behavioral signs of stress. And so now we have all these terrible signs of stress. What can we do about them? So one thing we can do is, and once again, these are all free or low cost things you can do, but it's not one size fits all. We're not asking you to do all of these things in your life. We recognize that some things might work for some people and might not work for others. So, sorry, one second. sorry about that. So going for a walk is a huge one. I try to, when it's not snowy out, always walk to lunch if I can, or like when I get home after a day of service, I go on a nice little walk just to kind of like clear my head. So working out at home, gyms are expensive if you're on an AmeriCorps budget, so kind of developing like your own like small workout routine at home to kind of get that going. Going to sleep on time is a huge one. I've been getting like 6 hours of sleep for the past couple weeks, and I'm starting to feel it like creeping up on me, so I need to go learn to like not do that and get actual 8 hours of sleep. So that can be super important. And starting your day off like exhausted and tired is not a good way to prevent stress in your life. Another one that I struggle with, so limiting your screen content before bed. So kind of like make that like, so if you think it will work for you, make that like kind of time for like you to de-stress and like disconnect for everything before you go to bed. So maybe like half an hour before you go to bed, you're like, okay, I'm gonna put away my phone, I'm not gonna look at it, I'm just gonna kind of prepare to go to sleep. And along with that,
I think too, part of that is knowing where you are and what your next step in self-care is, and that might look differently. So I have an app on my phone that it's a red light app, so it limits the blue screen content, but then I don't have to not be on my phone before bed, which is I want to get to the point where I charge my phone like overnight in a separate room, and that screen time is just really limited across the board. But maybe start with a smaller step that is more feasible, and you can commit to, like downloading a red light filter.
so along with that, so routines can be super, super important, and it can kind of make your own like little like thing that you do every day, or like so if you have a bedtime routine, it's like, okay, I'm gonna put my phone and charge it away. I'm gonna like maybe read 15 minutes before I go to bed. Routine's like a really important way to like kind of have anchors in your life and have things that you know you are always going to do, and that kind of can bring you back to yourself. So develop those like little routines. They can be even like dumb little things, like get up in the morning and like open the blinds, or like always like, it can look like anything. Just like a routine that you do every day can really, really help you kind of ground yourself.
And if you like think of yourself as a computer, it can be helpful for some people to like have a boot up sequence and like a wind down sequence that primes your brain to like know that it's getting ready for either bed or work or whatever it is that you do.
I would also just add that I realize that a lot of this info seems pretty basic, and in some ways might seem, I don't know, like a lot of this is like what parenting handbooks say to do with like kids, right? Like kids crave structure and routine, that sort of thing. And so we're not trying to like infantilize you or talk to you like a child right now, but more like sometimes we all need a refresher about like the basics and a chance to like reboot and start over again. And so, or restart, I guess that's the computer term to follow in there. So that's what we're trying to do, is to give us a chance to reflect on it and give you the opportunity to see other things that are out there that can help you with your self-care.
I've had a bedtime routine for like a year, and I think I followed it like 3 times. So I think sometimes we know some of this stuff too, but like Maggie said, kind of as an example, getting refamiliar with and recommitting to carving out that time for.
Yeah, a lot of this is recognizing that maybe you're already doing those things, and because you're doing them and they are your self-care, that you need to like protect them and like realize how important they are to your experience. So then also physical self-care, so getting enough vitamins, cleaning your room. This is something that so in my old house, I had a roommate, he was very messy, we were in the same room, I was like, I'm not gonna like have half a clean room, I'm just gonna also be messy like him. And now that I'm in my own apartment and have my own room, I'm like, okay, now I'm actually gonna clean my room, and it's so much nicer not coming back to like a dirty room. So that can be a huge, huge thing. And then taking baths. I've taken a bath in a long time. I'm a shower person, so maybe I should start doing that.
I'll tell you what, bath nights, the nights when we give my kids baths, they sleep the best.
It is very relaxing.
Yeah.
I think that I added that one because my shower right now currently doesn't stop the water from draining, so I can't take a bath. And I'm like, oh, that's what I would like to do for self-care that I wouldn't have ever thought that I would like to do because it's not possible.
Can't you just like put a washcloth over the drain?
I don't think so.
Oh.
Potentially.
Well, when I was a little kid, I took a shower and thought I would turn it into a swimming pool, and I put a washcloth over the drain and flooded my bathroom.
I'll try it. I'll let you know how it goes.
What's your bathroom? That's good
Mama
self-care.
Harris didn't like
So, intellectual self-care. So, this can kind of seem a little bit goofy, but like, kind of like taking the time to like explore and like learn new things, like feel really good. So like there's Duolingo, like everybody cares about learning a new language. Like it feels good to like acquire knowledge and to learn new things. So it's kind of like encourage yourself to do those things. So read a book, listen to a podcast about a topic you're interested in. Like you can really kind of like deepen your experience and kind of that will help also with self-care. Social. So we all have networks, and it's really, really important to kind of use those networks as self-care. So calling your friends, that's a big one. Like I've been trying to keep in touch with everyone, all the alumni from my previous 2 years of AmeriCorps, and it's been really kind of nice to have a network to lean back on. You can vent with your friends, but just be careful that venting is a good self-care strategy, but it's not good if you kind of just go overboard with it and just spend your time like complaining about things and not really kind of putting forth positive solutions. So friends are a great way to vent, a great source of people to vent to, but you can kind of go over with that. So I'd caution on like over venting. Host a potluck with your friends. Like if you can't cook like me, it's probably not the best idea, but have something where you all come together and bring like food. Like it's the holiday season. Like maybe that's a good something to like think about.
And it's cheaper than going out to eat.
Yeah.
On a business budget. And food stamps will usually cover parts of it. So
I would also encourage you, even if you're not a culinary talent,
Maybe learn
like
to cook.
Dylan, there's always like room for other items at a potluck than like homemade items. So I would not like opt out of a potluck just because you're like, well, I can't cook and somebody's already bringing the veggie tray. I'm out.
there's shrimp cocktail too, so.
And wine.
So another big thing is, so finding free events in your area, kind of like finding ways to broaden your, if you're new to the area, like we talked about this orientation again, but like kind of broaden your network and find those things that you're passionate about and find the people who are also passionate about those same topics. And then the spiritual category. So if you've never tried meditating before, maybe try meditating. It might work for you, it might not. It's kind of like on a person-by-person basis. But for people that it works for, it really, really works. Start a gratitude journal. So keep track of what the good things are. If you're someone like me who kind of focuses on the negative a lot, a gratitude journal could be a real good way to like find out and like reflect on what's going well and make yourself do that.
In your planner that we gave everyone, there is a weekly like 3 things you are grateful for. If you want to just like start trying out practicing gratitude without investing in a gratitude journal or starting a whole new like routine, that can be a good way to do that. Or just like jot something down every day in a calendar planner you already use.
And you can make art, whatever that looks like for you. That can be like actually painting, could just be like website design, something like that. And then also like really kind of doing a deep dive on your own beliefs and exploring those can be really like gratifying to be like, okay, why I believe strongly in service. That's why I joined AmeriCorps. Like why is that so important? And kind of like thinking about that and like recording that can be really helpful to help you kind of justify yourself to yourself. And then emotional. So this is a huge one. So saying no and yes with like meaning behind them. So if someone comes up to you and asks you to do something that you really don't want to do, having that confidence to say no and not like bringing yourself down by having to do something you don't want to do, like in your social life. If someone wants to go to a party and you really don't want to go and you're dreading it, maybe like actually just being able to say like, no, I don't want to go, and being able to like stand by that can really, really help you out. And same with saying yes. So say yes to things that you really want to do and be really passionate about those things. And then, so expressing your feelings and whatever that looks like. So for some people it's a physical journal, for some people it can be a digital thing. Whatever way that you can find to kind of express your feelings to yourself, it could really, really help and kind of help reflect.
I think it's also important to like communicate those with other people as well, so that those issues don't build up. So like being honest about how you feel and naming how you feel. I provided a like word emotional intelligence tool at this orientation for everyone, and it can help you name a little bit more exactly what you're feeling, so you can better communicate that, and that can just alleviate a lot of stress because your feelings are out there, and then they can either be resolved or you can set them aside, but you don't have to dwell on them.
Yeah, along with the don't be the bad news kind of thing, take time away from social media. Social media can be a huge part of our lives, and it's not always positive. So kind of taking that time to like disconnect and disengage from screens is super important. And then we're all just, we have to make no money, like start a budget, like find a way to like divide up what you're making and kind of think about it intentionally so you're not stressing out too much about like, oh, do I plan to pay for this or money to pay for this?
But self-care does not have to be sexy. Like starting a budget is not a sexy thing, but when you think about how much stress is caused by like financial strain or just like, I don't know if you've ever like swiped your debit card and been like, hope this goes through, but like just knowing that and the peace of mind that comes with that can really alleviate a lot of that stress. It won't give you more money.
Yeah, unfortunately, self-care won't make you more money, but it'll help you hopefully like allocate the money you have in a way that helps you take care of yourself. So now we've shared some strategies we've used, so now we'd like you all to share strategies that you have all used in your own lives. So if you raise your hand in the chat, I can unmute you, and then you can talk over your phone or microphone or whatever, or you can also type out things in the chat as well. So Jennifer, I'm going to unmute you right now. All right, Jennifer, you're on.
Okay, this is another thing, kind of like meditating, where it might work for some people and it might not, but I noticed that singing greatly reduces my stress. I used to drive back and forth to work all the time, and I would always sing really loudly to whatever I was listening to. And then for about a period of 2 years, I didn't have a car, and I had to walk everywhere, and I wasn't going to sing on the street. And I noticed a big dip in my positivity. And then I started singing in the shower again, and it went back up. So I think finding a time or a location where you feel safe to sing to yourself can really help with stress.
I think that's a great point, especially singing. I don't totally know this, but it makes sense to me. So this could be fake science, but I'm pretty sure like singing, you're breathing in a different way when you sing, and it introduces like more oxygen into your body that way, which can like sort of lift you up. And then personally, I have found that screaming the song "Hold On" by Wilson Phillips is like very therapeutic.
Thank you so much for that one. Yeah, like I sing in the car a lot, and I can't sing at all, but like it helps me. It's really nice. Let's see. Amethyst, so you do not have your PIN?
So we can't really call on you, Amethyst, unless you either enter your audio through the phone, or you could type out your response in the questions area and we can read it that way.
Oh wait, I think it just changed. I'm going to try and mute you right now, Amethyst, and let's see if this works. All right, Amethyst, you're on.
Hello?
Yep.
Hello.
Hi, okay. So one thing that I really like to do is to watch like a really terrible, cheesy movie once a week and verbally criticize it. In the sense it helps me like release a lot of stress and like focus my anger or stress on something that isn't like necessarily the problem. So I'm just giving emotion, and I also get to laugh at how bad and cheesy movies are. And you can do that with friends or just by yourself. And I think that's really helped me.
I think that's awesome. My husband and I just watched Mystery Science Theater 3000, like the first movie.
Yes.
Yeah, and he and I were both like really stressed out before we started watching it last night, and we were laughing pretty hard during it. So it really did help.
Thank you so much.
We have a few people who have typed out their self-care strategies. Maddie Poindexter says she enjoys traveling by herself for self-care. Even a small road trip to a new town in Michigan really helps me de-stress and give me time to think. I 100% agree with that. My mom, when I lived in Nashville, my mom would come around like Nashville-y cities, not in Tennessee, but like Indianapolis I would have never gone to. And she would go there for conferences, and I would just go with her and explore during the day and then had a place to sleep. So it was kind of low cost for me to be able to do that when I was in grad school because I didn't have any money. But I love that time to just kind of explore. And I think, too, the thing with traveling is that part of, like, reflecting on your beliefs and who you are and what you care about is being able to see who you are in different contexts, in different environments, and then getting, like, a truer picture of who you are in essence. I'm not sure if that makes sense, but that's how I feel about it.
I'm going to quickly, so I'll go back to the phone. So Suzanne, you have your hand up. So I'm going to unmute you right now. Oh, wait.
Right now.
You are self-muted, Suzanne. So if you can unmute yourself, you can, there we go.
So I live with like 3 other girls, so I find that a lot of times it's hard for me to get space or time to myself. And so what I'll do is I leave for work probably like 5 or 10 minutes earlier than I need to, so that by the time I get to work, I can just sort of take that time to sit in my car and relax, whether that's like quickly go on my phone or listen to the radio or listen to music and just like decompress before I go into my workplace. So I have that time just sort of to myself.
Thank you. Yeah, I do the exact same thing. I usually get here like 15 minutes early and sit in my car for like a good 10 minutes and then come in because it's kind of a good time to like make sure I'm there on time and also like de-stress and kind of have some alone time.
Sarah Hardigan says that she takes baths and also painting her nails helps and her skincare routine helps. I think that's like really indicative of how some of those physical, like taking care of your like physical self, and physical spaces too, going back to cleaning your room, can really make your like your insides feel better. I personally do not like painting my nails because for me it became one of those things that like the upkeep was so much that self-care for me was like throwing all of my nail polish out. Like, no, you do not have to do this every like 3 to 6 days, depending on how many dishes you do and how chipped your nails are. But I totally respect it.
Oh. For the record, I just Googled it, and singing is an aerobic activity, which means it gets more oxygen into the blood for better circulation, which tends to promote a good mood. So Maggie's fake science is real science.
And now we have a new workout routine.
That's right. Sing in the office.
Ashley uses dance as a form of self-care. She can have a really bad day, but when she starts to dance, it greatly improves her mood. The Lord did not make me for dancing, and I also really appreciate that too.
I've tried dance and it is not pretty.
My dad and I used to line dance when I was in middle school, right downtown, in front of this giant window. We only have one street in our town, so I might have been scarred, but you know, this is what it is.
Would anyone else like to call in and share?
My dad would have never volunteered to do that. That's
Awesome. My dad made me do it. This was not volunteering. He was not like, oh, Vicky, you really want to line dance. It was like, Vicky, I signed us up, let's go. So.
Share some more text ones.
Jackie says her and Sean will sometimes go get lunch with each other just to chat and laugh. If you have someone to talk to in the office about non-work related things during your break, it's a nice break, or call someone to catch up with them.
That's huge, yeah.
Okay, and the last, oh wait, just kidding, I have two more. Alexis says that she likes to journal every day to sort of review what good things happened and what she can be grateful for, and even what bad things happened, she can get them out on paper.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my human has a gratitude journal that like in the morning there's like 3 questions. And it's like, what do you want to do today? And what are you grateful for? And then in the evening, it's like, what happened well? And what do you want to do better? And so it allows him to get all of that stuff out, but also to be productive in reflecting on that and like what he actually has control over. I personally like eyelash wishes for the same reason, and most people I know think they're silly, but if I have an eyelash to wish on, I will really think critically about what I want to use my eyelash on. I was like, no, I can totally control this aspect. This is not worth my wish. And then it like re-empowers me to take control over all of those things that pop in my head that I want to go well, that I do have some sort of control over. And then Rita has found that breaking up projects into little parts and checking them off the list helps when she feels overwhelmed. She also likes to sit in her car when she gets home.
And yeah, breaking down huge tasks in those little tiny chunks is a great way to both do self-care and also manage projects. So if you have that huge intimidating project in front of you, like, I have no idea where to start on this, kind of breaking it down and starting with things that you like the most and working forward from there is a great way to kind of break that stuff down.
And then Danielle says that she likes to light candles and listen to music.
Yes, lighting candles. I like. Now that for the first time in my life I've been able to actually light candles, because I couldn't have them the last 2 years of my program or in college, it's been wonderful.
I'm very surprised by this.
I love candles. I think